I am Jackie Meyer, and I chose for this week's journal entry to do my topic over client therapist match. This is the information I got was from chapter 6 in Hayes's reading, and that's what I chose to do my topic over. For this week's reading, I noticed that it's very important to have client and therapist to be on the same page. And to do that, I think a lot of the time it kind of goes by trial and error a little bit. It doesn't always have to be that way. If you are very open with clients when setting up appointments and stuff like that, you can be very upfront and honest with them, saying what you identify as. I am a white woman. And that's what I would say for my experience when you are setting up an appointment with them, or making sure that they are aware of that when they are setting up an appointment with you, when they are coming into you, to make sure that they are very aware of that. According to Hayes in chapter 6 on page 121, research has shown that race is less of a factor in client and therapist match rather than cultural identity. So what that means is that clients usually find more favor in a therapist who is more culturally connected with them. So they have the same morals, the same traditions as them, the same kind of background as them, rather than what they identify as their race. So that was something that struck me when I was reading this chapter. Another thing that struck me was that gender might not always play a role. It doesn't always say, or it's not always that way with everybody. It goes from a person-to-person basis as everybody's experience with therapy goes. So I think that's important to keep in mind when you are working with any clients, to make sure that you're just very open and honest with them and you're hearing them out. It might not be the most comfortable thing, or it might feel very weird in your skin, but I think it's very important that you just say, this is what I identify as, what are you comfortable with, how do you feel about my ethnic background, and stuff like that. With me specifically, I have been to therapy before, and I have seen a couple of different therapists, and one was a white male who was in his 50s, one was a white female who was in her 40s, a little bit younger, and I did not really click, I would say, with the white male. It just seemed like he didn't understand me, and I didn't feel like I was getting a lot out of my sessions, so it felt like at the end of it, when I look back and reflect on those therapy sessions, I wasn't getting anything out of that therapy. So I was relying more on my medication than I was anything. And medication can only take you so far. I know I'm diagnosed with both generalized anxiety disorder and depression. So it's a combination of things for my health journey. My mental health journey is making sure that I have a combination of both medication to help control my emotions and maybe some chemical imbalances in my brain, as well as some of those tools that I could have gotten them from therapy. We just didn't vibe. When I saw a different counselor, she understood me a lot more. She was a little bit younger. She could kind of click with me a little bit more. So it's just different. If something like that were to come up with a client or a future client with me, I think it's important to say, this is a what can I do to help you kind of thing. This is not about me. There's nothing that is going to hurt my feelings. So to preface before our sessions start, I want to say, this is how I identify. What are you looking for in a counselor? And I would have that conversation with them. What are you comfortable with? And then I would want my client to know that if there is any point within the first few sessions that you are not comfortable with, please communicate that with me, and I will do my best to maybe refer you to somebody else that maybe connects more with what you're looking for in a counselor. I just think it's best to make sure that you and a client know that you're supposed to be working together, and not as I'm working for you or you're working for me kind of a thing. It's all about collaboration. I think that's the biggest thing.